On Sports Central, the coaches back-to-back for In Vogue. Top people in 2 stories.
On 882 6PR.
That was your record when you were playing, Ross Lyon.
I was very clean, Brad. You know that.
I know. Hard but fair.
Just had a big mouth.
Hard but fair.
Just a yapper you were.
Big nose, big mouth. Yeah. Plenty of claret coming out of it. Yeah.
Quickly, overview from yesterday. Obviously, really happy to get the 4 points, and things starting to go along the way in patches.
Yeah, well, just really frustrating. First quarter, like 15 entries. We had the first 11 entries, kick 1 goal, so that was frustrating. And then I really felt in the second quarter we lost our intensity and really overused the ball, like almost 1-to-1 kick to handball. So at half time, I thought we were getting smothered in the stoppages. So I just spoke about playing with a hard edge and start kicking the ball more and playing more penetrative football. So I thought after half time, the third quarter was reflective of play with a hard edge without pressure and went quickly and scored 5 or 6 goals in a burst. So that was more what we wanted to be like. So there's no doubt Bulldogs come over with a view to not get opened up too much. So I mean, they only had 36 entries for the day, and we had 54. So, but we just weren't aggressive enough kicking the ball in the second quarter, and I thought really wasteful in the first quarter, and missed some sitters from 20. They would have blown the game out. And I was a bit frustrated with our clearance work, but overall, in patches, what we're about, but we just want to be an every-time team.
Now, you don't care how ugly the game is as long as you get the 4 points, do you?
Oh, not particularly, but look, I just think we've been in some really free-flowing games. Geelong, I thought the Essendon game, Adelaide game was quite open, and then the Bulldogs are a really good clearance team, and we pushed the forward up, and they pushed the forward up, and it got a bit congested. So after half-time, we just held a bit more and gave a bit more space around the stoppages. But no, not particularly.
No,
Ross?
I don't care either, as long as you get the 4 points. And there's a few others that have SMS through, but it's amazing how many supporters don't like it because it's ugly.
Yeah, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? And look, the way we play, we're not going to revert to downhill skiing. So we can play a brand where we'll win by 10 one week and lose by 10, but that's not what we want. We want to have a hard edge and play a brand that, because the pressure comes in finals, and there's more packs, there's a lot of tackling, and that's just the way it is. I mean, I can send them down the race and go run forward of the ball, go mids get it, and we'll have a week where we win by 10, and then we can trot off to Melbourne if we want and lose by 10. So it all depends what you're after. So we just want a consistency of competing, and our ability to go to Melbourne this year and win's been solid because of we're trying not to play lucky dip football.
Ross, when you get it right, there's no doubt it looks good. Now, how do you coach though? I mean, do you encourage your players to kick the ball? Are they a little terrified that they're going to make a mistake, so they want to make it someone else's problem? Or
yeah, no, certainly. I haven't taken anyone off for skill error, and we talk about that all the time. And if you consistently make the wrong decision kicking it, well, you find yourself out the team. But I never terrorise skill errors. I coach effort and discipline and hardness. But clearly in our football program somewhere we're handballing too much. So we'll start taking the kick-down-ball ratio in our drills and our training. And it's those forward handballs, because if you're looking for the cheaper handball, you're taking away numbers that can be getting back front and square. So the game's sort of reverted, retro really. It's a bit more long kicking front and square play. So, when teams were playing collapse back footy and they were sitting in the back 50, well, you had to run and use it. But now they press up. There's less time and space. And so you need to take your one-on-ones and get to the fall. So we're going to make that adjustment, so that's what we're aiming to do.
One of our listeners, it is Nat in Canning Vale, has asked us to ask you why Morra didn't play for Peel on the weekend.
Yeah, in my presser I said he had some slight hiccups with the mild concussion he had, but I just spoke to Chris Bond 5 minutes ago, and he'd spoken to Anthony. He's really confident he'll play this week. So last week's done. He had a hiccup, but he's confident he'll play this week in the Waffle.
Now, mate, back onto the game, I reckon, looking from the commentary box, that your blokes got surprised a little bit by the man-on-man tactics adopted by the Bulldogs, because there's not too many teams that come to town and done that.
No, you're spot on. Retro brand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Sometimes you have to think. You've got a man on you all of a sudden, and you're standing in your spot where normally you're just guarding space.
Yeah, they do play a man-on-man brand, and they tackle a lot, and they're a really good clearance team. So, I mean, their vulnerability's been on the spread. So once we were able to get it out to open space and move it quicker, we were able to expose them on the spread a little bit and get it to Pav one out. And, well, he's in ripping nick. So, and him and Maney. It is something different from, but clearly, Brendan doesn't want to play lucky dip football, and they play man on man and they compete, and it was hard to get time and space, no doubt.
Is that something though, experiencing that style? And when we talk about finals footy, and you've already raised it tonight, that it becomes more man on man, and that's what Geelong have done. So, and he's had some experience there, hasn't he? And so, therefore, from that aspect, looking ahead,
well, Geelong, we know Geelong had a team rule. It'd be man on man, but they wouldn't get opened up. So once it become less than 4 forwards in their defence, they drop one off. So they won't be slaves to you. And that's the principle. So it's man on man, but we can't follow you everywhere. So they'll drop a defender off and get a +1 when they feel opened up. And so for them, once you got greedy taking up forwards, once it become three pairs, they would then drop one off because they got a bit vulnerable. So everyone goes man on man to a point, and if you go everywhere with them, all of a sudden there's 13 people in your forward line and there's 2 in theirs, and you got sieved. So that was their basic rule. Yeah.
Ross, what's the consideration at the selection table this week for Melbourne at Etihad?
We don't have to worry about the rain. So dry turf, and last time we were there we beat the Saints. So we go over confident that we can perform in Melbourne and under the roof. Certainly, Walder's put on another solid display. Spur, there's Neil Subin outside of time, and Jesse Crichton play quite well, and then will Dawson come up. So they're the ones we've got to consider in, and then Sutcliffe come in, he had 15 on debut, and he's an elite runner, he's just enormous, so we'd like to keep him going. So it's a bit, Grover, will he come up? Is he okay? And then do we need a little bit more height in the forward line? So does a Dawson come in, maybe push a Johnson forward, something like that? So they're the sort of things we're weighing up.
First going back for Kepler for a while, I thought that he was very good, Ross. And Jonathan Griffin, well, his palming has been very, very good. I mean, there's been a lot of blokes that have been pretty happy, I think, to receive what he's been giving them, certainly what I saw on the weekend.
Yeah. Really accurate. I thought Kepler played with that hard edge and competed, had 20 possessions and really did a lot of the hack work, which allowed Pav to stay a bit deeper, so we like that. And I think the real strength of John Griffin is around the ground. We're talking about using our legs more when you get the ball, and he picked it up 3 times and burst away and really penetrated with his legs and then kicked it to the forwards. It was a great one to Pav from half-back. So he's got great mobility, and his ruck work, he is palming it a little bit better every week. So, he's really quite exciting for us, really.
Ross, in your quiet time, when you're sitting there by yourself, idle, and you have a look at the AFL ladder, do you just say, sheesh, where's this all going to finish?
Well, you're right. It's really wide open, isn't it? So, bar percentage, we're equal 8th. So, there's about 4 or 5 teams on 7-7. And, we've still got our own destiny in our hands. We're certainly our best, even early in the year with an incredibly tough run. We found ourselves 5-2, and those other 2 were winnable. So we know our best is good enough, but we've got to produce it, quarter by quarter, and then we'll give ourselves a real opportunity. But it's exciting that, with 8 games to go, we've certainly got opportunity in front of us.
So do you encourage your players to dare to dream? Is that part of it? I mean...
Yeah, it's all about possibility. There's no doubt about that. That's what fuels your energy and your desire, is hope. So if you haven't got hope, what's the point? So we've certainly got possibility and we've got hope, but, you got to earn the right to play finals. So you got to get that ticket, and the only way to do it is, and it starts this week, you got to go to Melbourne, you got to get it done, and then you got to continue on. So we're under no illusions, a lot of hard work, but it's exciting that we are alive, no doubt about that.
Keep on winning ugly. Now, mate, I've got to ask you this. One of our listeners, Phil, says, this is a pretty light one, although difficult to answer. Who would you select first if Pav and Rewalt were on the school wall?
On the school wall?
You know, the pick for pick. So you've got first pick, and I'm standing on the other side of the fence, and I've got second pick, and there's Pav and Nick standing right there.
Really, really easy answer. I'm a very loyal docker, so.
You changed quick, didn't you?
Well, you saw that firsthand, didn't you?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yep. I got a deal. I got a 5-year deal here. Yep. Let's get on the plane.
Good stuff,
you're
Ross.
honest.
Thanks for your time, mate. Appreciate it. Good luck against the D's on the weekend.
I appreciate it. Cheers, bud. Cheers,
Ross Lyon there, and of course Fremantle across here this weekend to take on the Melbourne Football Club at Etihad.